Howdy, fuckers. This is episode 7 of the F1 Chat. I'm your host, Phil Lamington.
Yeah. That's an aggressive start. That's some Max Verstappen elbows out.
That's Plan C.
That's Plan C.
Alright, we'll start it again. That's the bloopers. Alright. Hello out there in internet land. This is episode 7 of the F1 Chat for the 2025 season. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Seated to my left is a man who he's rather happy. He's a rather happy chappy. And that is JB. JB, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Are you happy? You happy because Max got the apex?
Max got the apex and the cinema agreed with my logic. Max had the apex. We'll get to that later. He definitely had the apex, though.
The one thing about that crash was, as soon as that crash happened, I'm like, please don't be like Driven. Please don't be like the crash in Driven.
We'll get to it, but how far he flipped off the track, I thought he was going to land in a lake.
Yeah, but he flipped off at Parabolica.
Yeah.
So it's realistic. It could happen.
That's a long way through that sand trap.
Yeah, but still.
Okay, we'll get to it.
Right. So we're gonna have a chin wag about the Canadian F1.
Yeah,
Feels like a friggin' lifetime ago.
it was a lifetime ago.
Mind you, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it until Monday.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it live, and it's been so long. I went back and watched the KO Mini highlights package of it today, just to remember what happened. Besides the massive talking point from that race,
Yeah, right.
which we'll get to.
Right, so, well, might as well start talking about the F1 race. We hand it over to you. F1 report time.
Absolutely, the 2025 Pirelli Canadian Grand Prix from Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. Lap 1, George Russell starts on pole position alongside Max Verstappen. Russell gets the whole shot as Antonelli passes Oscar Piastri on the inside for third place. Meanwhile, Alex Albon is forced onto the grass after running out of room into turn 3. Lap 11, Lando Norris passes Fernando Alonso for 6th. Lap 13, Max Verstappen pits early for hard tyres after almost being passed by Kimi Antonelli. Lap 14, George Russell pits for hard tyres from the lead of the Grand Prix. Lap 16, Oscar Piastri pits for hard tyres from the lead of the Grand Prix. It's becoming a recurring theme. Lap 29, Charles Leclerc pits for hard tyres. Lap 30, Lando Norris pits for medium tyres to go against the strategy. Lap 38, Max Verstappen takes his second stop, putting on the hard tyres, just squeezing out ahead of Kimi Antonelli on the undercut. Lap 45, Oscar Piastri takes his second stop for hard tyres. Lap 47, Lando Norris pits for hard tyres. Lap 48, Alex Albon retires from the race in his Williams with a power unit failure. I believe they had the same issue in Spain as well. As Lance Stroll is handed a 10-second time penalty for punting Pierre Gasly off the track coming into the final corner. And lap 66, Lando Norris, here we go, dives under Oscar Piastri for 4th place into the hairpin. The pair of McLarens drag race each other down the back straight, Oscar holding firm on the inside into the final corner. Onto the front straight, Lando Norris attempts to pass Oscar again with DRS, but goes for a gap between the pit wall and Oscar's car that clearly wasn't there. Lando crashing out as Oscar fortunately escapes unscathed. The safety car is deployed. Lap 70. George Russell wins the Canadian Grand Prix under safety car conditions from Max Verstappen and Mercedes teammate Kimi Antonelli, who scores his first podium and is the 3rd youngest driver on the podium ever, apparently.
Yes.
There you go.
And he got driver of the day as well, I think.
Well deserved.
So in fourth place was Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. Fifth place was Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Sixth place was Lewis Hamilton in the other Ferrari. Seventh place was Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin. Eighth place was Nico Hulkenberg in the Kick Sauber. Ninth place was Esteban Ocon in the Haas. And 10th place, rounding out the top 10, was Carlos Sainz in the Williams. So, let's talk about George Russell.
Yeah. Let's talk. Great drive.
Yeah, it was a great drive. It was a solid drive. He didn't exactly do a lot.
He didn't have to. He started from pole.
Yeah, he just went into Mazda zoom mode and just...
It was actually a really good weekend for him.
Yeah.
He started on pole. He had 2 clean pit stops and he came out and won the race. Rather convincingly. I mean, I don't think Max was going to catch him at the end regardless of the safety car, but he actually dominated that weekend. Mercedes did too.
Yeah, well... He did all right, you know. He did what he had to do, got the win, got the points on the board, got the flowers.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I wasn't expecting him to win a race this year, but there he goes. He pops up when you least expect him.
Yeah.
I didn't think McLaren would struggle as much as they did in Canada, but they just never really had the ultimate pace.
I think another team that really looked like they were just in no man's land was Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's just not suited to their car.
No, they've had a few races now in a row not suited to their car.
And I think Austria is going to be the same. It's not going to be suited to their car.
No, I think they're going to struggle very badly in Austria, unfortunately.
Which is a shame because it seems like it's all the tracks where they're high-speed circuits with long straights.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting a strong weekend for McLaren this weekend, honestly, but
yeah, but
after last year with Max and Lando tussling, you never know.
Yeah, but it could be...
It could be Mercedes.
It could be George Russell again,
like
last year.
Seem to be picking back up again.
Yeah.
You know, in that battle for, that three-way fight between Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes, they're definitely swinging the pendulum their way a bit.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to the key drivers. Next key driver, obviously, is Max Verstappen.
Yep, did well.
Drove a solid race.
Drove a very solid race. Probably wasn't quite quick enough to win.
But it's what he needed.
I think it's what Red Bull needed. Well, it's what he needed, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. First time in a while that, neither McLaren's been on the podium or been near him, so good for their championship as well.
Yeah. Next key driver, Kimi Antonelli, got on the podium for the first time.
Yeah, that was only a matter of time. He drove brilliantly. He had a nice battle with Max Verstappen for a couple of laps and held his own, honestly.
I think it was the first lap where he got past Piastri as well.
Yeah, he squeezed Piastri into turn 2. Nice ballsy move from the kid. Showing plenty of promise and got his first podium.
Speaking of Piastri, he was the next key driver.
Yeah, he was definitely the better. I don't know if he's the better McLaren driver, but
yeah, well, him and Norris were catching Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah, they were, and if they'd, worked together a little bit better instead of fighting, it may have paid off for one of them. But Lando was catching Oscar at a pretty solid rate too. So
yeah, I did put Charles Leclerc on the list.
Yeah, mate, he did what he could, and I guess you could say the same for Lewis.
Well,
he dragged that car home in 6th place after hitting a groundhog.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about Lewis Hamilton. Like, he lost 10 points of downforce.
He hit that groundhog on the first lap and lost, probably two or three struts on his front wing.
And he killed a groundhog.
And he killed a groundhog, the poor guy.
So...
He was more devastated about that than the result.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's like I heard he killed a groundhog, so I'm pretty upset.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you finished 6th. I mean...
Yeah, he's got nothing to complain about if he's lost 10 points of downforce and he's still got points.
You still finished just behind Charles.
Yeah.
It was probably the best Ferrari could do on the day anyway.
Yeah. Fernando Alonso has made it on the list.
Yeah, well, he made it in the top 10.
Yeah,
and
he's got some more
convincingly.
Points.
Absolutely. Showed his Canadian teammate the way, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it's really like if Alonso or even Stroll get points, you sit there and go, how did they manage to yank that out of that shitbox car? It is a shitbox.
It is a shitbox this year, yeah. It really is.
Yeah,
But, I mean, Lance in his home race, making mistakes again. It's like the pendulum swung the other way now. Fernando's back to driving consistently and not making dumb mistakes, and Lance is going back to licking windows, so...
Next driver on the list was Hulkenberg. Like, he's getting the most out of that Sauber.
That Sauber's a shitbox, but he's had a couple of really good races in a row.
Yeah, he is really bringing the best out of that car.
Absolutely. I actually think he's probably due for another good performance at this weekend as well.
Yeah, I think he'll get it.
I've got an inkling that he's going to...
Yeah, I think he's going to bag some points this weekend. Which will be 3 races on the trot that he's bagged points.
Well, if he didn't justify that he was the one going forward with Audi, I think he is now.
Yeah.
Like, I think Audi's made a very good decision in bringing Hulkenberg on board.
I think maybe Bortoletto wasn't the right guy.
Can drive an F2 car, can't drive an F1 car.
But we'll see.
He's not crashing it, he's just not driving consistently.
Next driver on the key list was Esteban Ocon. Despite the fact that I don't think he was in the top 10.
He had an okay day.
He had an okay day, and he's also getting something out of that Haas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has been finding some good pace in the Haas lately. I guess you could say the same for Carlos Sainz as well in the Williams.
Well, he was next on my list as Carlos Sainz.
He only just cracked the top 10, but he did enough.
Yeah, and I mean, Alex Albon's had 2 really bad weekends in a row.
He's had 2 shockers in a row, Alex.
But, the thing is, they sat there and said with Alex Albon, well, we'll get to Alex Albon in a sec anyway, so we'll focus on Carlos Sainz. Like, Sainz is really... He's done the best he could with what he's got.
Yeah. He hasn't set the world on fire, though. Like,
I'm starting to get the inkling that Williams has hit its ceiling.
Yeah, they do need some more developmental updates.
Yeah, whereas...
There's only so much Carlos can do with it.
Whereas Red Bull has more or less said they've started working on next year's car already.
Yeah, I think Red Bull's basically given up on the constructors.
Yeah. And I've got a special mention... Because this guy wasn't in the top 10, but I think he actually held himself really well, and that's Oliver Behrman.
Yeah.
He made a good showing for himself. He didn't get any points. But...
I saw him a couple of times on the broadcast having some scraps, and he definitely seemed to have a bit of poise about him. Still probably not quite to Ocon's level, but he's not far off, I don't think.
All right, and then we get to the PK kick. The helmet drivers. The first one was obviously Liam Lawson. Like, he's just still... I think he retired the car. He was second last.
Yeah, it wasn't a great day for Lawson. Hasn't been a great season for Lawson, honestly.
No.
Lost the Red Bull seat and then hasn't done anything to redeem himself in the V-Carb.
I mean,
that said, Yuki Tsunoda's... I think he was 13th last I saw.
Yeah.
In their Red Bull, in the second Red Bull, the Poison Chalice Red Bull.
Yeah.
So, more of the same, but yeah, all that shit talk at the start of the year about backing himself, and he's not exactly walked the walk after he talked the talk.
Well, the only backing he's done is backed himself into a corner because he's fucked.
Yeah, he's in a lot of... He's got to start showing something. Because everyone's talking about Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah.
Like, Hadjar's driving the wheels off that thing.
Yeah.
And Liam, Jesus, man. I know Liam's fresh to Formula One level, but you're basically getting outdriven by an F2 driver.
Yeah.
That's not good. Not only did you lose your seat at Red Bull, you're being outdriven by a Formula 2 driver that wasn't even the champion last year.
Yeah.
Like, he's just coming out of Formula 2 and you're getting your ass kicked. So, he's got some soul-searching to do too.
My next helmet driver is Lance Stroll.
At his home race.
At his home race,
does a Lando, goes between the grass and the wall, coming into the pit lane. No, actually, he squeezed Pierre Gasly to the wall, coming into the Wall of Champions corner, the last chicane. Basically didn't give Pierre anywhere to go and copped a 10-second time penalty to cap an already shit day. So,
my next helmet driver, this might be a controversial call, but I put Alex Albon on here. And
really?
The reason why, like they said that he's got a power unit problem, but his problem started on lap 1 when he decided to go over the grass. That was rather self-inflicted.
He did run himself out of room, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was carrying underbody damage for the rest of the race.
And then I wouldn't mind betting that caused the power unit issue.
And then he's bitching at his team that the strategy didn't work and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, like...
And then the power unit suddenly failed because he's embarrassed himself again.
Yeah, he's just...
It's been a really on-tilt drive the last 2 weeks for him.
Do you think maybe Carlos Sainz is starting to get to him?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, let me just look up the championship standings as who's ahead here, because I keep thinking Alex is ahead in the championship, but maybe it's not the case.
I think he is.
Maybe it's not the case.
Or they're at least tied on points.
They've got to be close. Where's my championship standings here? Results.
Cutting edge reporting here on the F1 chat.
Cutting edge reporting. So
That's all no, Jeff.
Carlos Sainz is on 13 points. He's in 13th place. And Alexander Albon he's on 42 points in 8th place. So I don't know where exactly this self-implied pressure is coming from, because it's certainly not Carlos Sainz in the standings itself at the moment.
Well, could it be that he's had the sudden realization that the car has reached its peak and the other teams are starting to catch it?
Yeah, but I mean, Carlos would have the same thing too, and he's still got points.
Yeah,
point.
Carlos seems to be a more level head.
Yeah. Alex is trying too hard at the moment. He's trying to force things early in the race instead of waiting for things to come to him in the race later.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee that's what Carlos did.
Yeah.
Because none of them qualified well, but Carlos just waited for his moments and he got 10th place. Where Alex, if he doesn't force it on the outside, accept defeat, don't run through the grass, run with the strategy your team wants you to run with, maybe that could have been you getting the point.
Yeah.
But instead you keep trying to force your hand. Obviously, the bad weekend in Spain means you're under a little bit more pressure to get a good result in Canada. And now all you've done is double down. So now you're really shitting the bed, because we're at the Red Bull Ring this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to figure out if there's a sprint race here this weekend or not. I think there might be. It seems like the track that they'd have one.
Yeah. Well, it's the FIA.
But he's under a lot of pressure this weekend. Even more pressure now.
Yeah. It's a shame that he's playing on tilt.
It is, because we know how talented he is.
Yeah.
It's just...
All right. And the final helmet driver, I think you can guess who the final helmet driver is.
There is no sprint race this weekend. It's just a straight Grand Prix.
So the final helmet driver is Lando Norris.
Well, yeah. Look, yes. But he did straight away own up to it.
But it was just a silly thing to do to begin with.
It was, I think his words were, it was desperate. I don't know why it needed to be that desperate. The gap was never there.
Yeah.
It was Oscar's car, half a car length, grass, and then concrete pit wall.
Yeah.
You jink to the inside, and then you go to the outside.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the outside with DRS, and you get half your car along, you're on the inside for turn 2.
Yeah, but I mean...
And you're on the inside for turn 3.
I got asked by a listener to the show to actually break down the crash a little bit. So they're putting along. Oscar's in front. There is no gap on the left.
Like, we can go back. So Lando's catching Oscar. Oscar's catching Kimi Antonelli. They go into the hairpin. They come out. Lando's basically got under Oscar, so they're side by side. Oscar's close enough to Kimi Antonelli to get DRS. Lando's close enough to Oscar to get DRS. So they're having a DRS drag race down the back straight, side by side. Lando's got the inside. No, Oscar's got the inside. Lando's got the outside. So when they get down the end of the back straight to the chicane, Lando's got to get off the gas and let Oscar go ahead. But it also means Oscar does get another helping in DRS, but so does Lando.
Yep.
Lando then uses the DRS to get up to the back of Oscar. Oscar's on the racing line, right where you need to be. And Lando, for some inexplicable reason, decides to go to the inside, towards the pit wall and the grass, overshoots, basically with the aid of DRS, he's got extra speed, overshoots on the grass, hits the back of Oscar with the extra momentum. The grass pitches the front of his suspension into the concrete pit wall, which rips his front wing off. And he's basically a passenger from that point. And how the fuck Oscar didn't get a puncture from that is a miracle. Yeah. How the fuck Oscar got out of that without any damage at all is a fucking miracle, to be honest. Yeah. And then Lando's come on the radio and said that was all my fault. And that's the position he's maintained. So kudos to him for saying it was all his fault, but the move was never on. He should have dummied to the inside, gone to the outside, take the pain into turn 1, and then you got the inside for turn 2 and turn 3, and you already got the move done.
And he still had 3 laps.
He still had 3 laps.
Yeah.
And he shows in that nutshell, in that moment, why he's not mentally ready to be world champion.
No.
It reminded me so much of Sochi 2021, when he decided to go out on his own and lost the race with 7 laps to go. It's just like, man, you can't do that. Okay. It just shows the difference between Oscar and Lando. Oscar didn't jink. Oscar didn't squeeze him. Oscar was on the racing line. Oscar didn't even move. It was all Lando's fault.
Yeah. Right, so who are you going for helmet driver of the week?
I'd love to say Lance Stroll on this one, but it's got to be Lando Norris.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's got to be Lando.
It's going to be a long week of reflection for him before we get to Austria.
Yeah.
Which, as we know last year, wasn't a great race for him either.
Well, actually, before the Canadian Grand Prix, Lando Norris was quoted as saying that it wasn't going to be if, but when him and Oscar Piastri clash on the track.
Well, congratulations for making it when.
You fucking willed that into existence.
Well, yeah. Well, look, best case scenario, honestly. Lando took himself out with a stupid mistake. Owned up to it. Oscar didn't get any damage and still finished 4th.
But
that is best case scenario.
When we were at Dead Rooter last night, I brought this up to you, which was 2007. You had Fernando Alonso at McLaren, Lewis Hamilton at McLaren, and Kimi Räikkönen at Ferrari. And it really was a title fight between Lewis and Fernando Alonso. But you had Alonso on tilt with the team because he didn't feel like he was getting preferential treatment over Lewis. Lewis is just sitting there going, holy shit, it's my first year in F1. I could fucking win the title.
And he fucking damn near did.
Damn near did. If it wasn't for Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
And then the young scallywag of Kimi Räikkönen just...
And it wasn't for him beaching it in the sand trap at the pit entry in China.
Yeah.
He would have won the championship. He would have been an 8-time champion, and he motherfuckers would have shot up already. And Abu Dhabi 2021 would have been a non-event, but here we are.
Yeah, but then 2008, he would have had to have given the title to Felipe Massa.
Well, no, he still won that title fair and square.
Yeah. But
anyway,
you're looking at a very
it's
similar.
No, it's not.
It's
not.
But it's looking like a very similar situation now. You've got Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, both in McLarens.
Well, it was Lando's team apparently, and now Oscar's come in and stolen that away from him. So I can see that he could feel a bit aggrieved, but
yeah, but
Lando's brought it on himself. He's not just driving like an asshole.
That's exactly my point. Like, Oscar didn't steal the team. Lando's.
They've been free to race, though. I'll give Zach and Andrea credit for that.
But what they're also doing with all these antics is they're giving Max Verstappen. He's doing the Kimi Räikkönen. He's doing a Bradbury.
Well,
He's still in the hunt.
he is still in the hunt, but Oscar did extend the championship lead on Lando, who was his closest rival. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's that stage yet because Lando's not.
Well, I mean,
Lando made a mistake.
this is round 10.
Yeah,
This
there's
is round
ages to
10.
go. There's
We still got
ages to go.
14 rounds to go. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not even halfway yet.
Yeah. But anything can happen between now and then.
Anything can happen in Formula One, and it usually does.
Yeah, it's because Formula One is if spelled backwards.
Exactly. No, I don't think Oscar and Lando are at Fernando and Lewis Senna and Prost stage yet.
No,
I can understand the sentiment, but I think Lando, to his credit, is a lot more accepting of his fuck-ups when things don't go his way, especially when it's his fault, as, say, a Lewis Hamilton or a Max Verstappen even. So it'll come to the point where Oscar's far enough ahead where McLaren will throw their weight behind Oscar to win the championship.
Yeah.
And if Lando keeps driving the way he does, that maybe 3 or 4 races away.
All right, so we're going to move on to the news. First news item is the 2026 calendar has been released.
Ooh, hot drop.
So the season starts on March 6 and March 8 in Australia, in Melbourne. Then the next weekend, the 13th and 15th of March, we're in China.
China.
Then the 27th and 29th of March, we're in Japan, back at Suzuka. See you in Suzuki, boys.
It's too early in the year. It's not raining enough.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's
too early in the year. You had it on after Bathurst every year.
Yeah, that's right.
It was Bathurst into Suzuka.
It was like
It was fucking Christmas Day.
Was it 2014? I think it was 2014. Like we watched Bathurst and we were all like, yes. Except I think a Ford won it, so I was like, no.
That was the year Jamie Rencutt ran out of fuel coming down Conrod.
So
and fucking Chaz Mostert stole it on him.
So even though I'm a Holden supporter,
that was a great day.
I was happy because Jamie Winchcup fucked up yet again.
That was a great day. That was probably one of the best Bathursts ever.
And then we flick over and watch the Japanese F1 to watch
torrential rain and Jules Bianchi crashes into a crane and dies.
It's just. And it was so downplayed that day.
Well, no one really knew what happened.
Yeah.
It's not like it was shown on TV.
No, like you saw the crash in the background and you're like, there's another car that's gone off.
And then, but they're not going to show. They knew it was bad because they never showed it.
Well, they showed a replay of it and you saw him smack his head and then they went, oh no, we shouldn't show this anymore.
Yeah, you sure? Yeah.
You know.
There is CCTV footage of the back angle of that. Not nice. He hit that hard.
But
that was a downer of a day.
Yeah.
But I mean, shit, we did it 2 years ago. We flicked over and it was torrential rain.
Yep.
And then Max Verstappen won the championship with half points.
Yeah.
And then it took like ages for them to do the maths. And then he's just like sitting there in like about to get out of the car. He's like, oh, by the way, you're world champion.
Yeah.
And then Max is like, oh, okay.
Cool.
And the most muted world, as opposed to 2021 where Jeffy Arrow led past, he's doing backflips on the pit wall. It was like, okay, this is the most muted world championship celebrations probably ever.
I know Senna and Prost crashing into each other to determine the championships twice.
Yeah, twice.
Even that was more enthusiastic than this.
It was exciting because they were just like, are they going to punch each other?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a fight?
But this was just, oh, Max, I believe you're a world champion again. Oh,
okay.
Wow, lovely.
Simply lovely.
Simply
all right,
lovely.
I'll see you on the podium.
See you in Suzuki, boys.
Jesus, that's downplayed.
So, Suzuka in March. Then April 10th and 12th, we've got Bahrain. April 17 to 19, if it's still there, Saudi Arabia.
We could put asterisks on those too. Assuming World War III hasn't started, they should be there. Or
Unfortunately,
else they might be racing around, landmines and shit. It might be real life mashed. You can drive around and just pick up an AK off the side of the track, start using it.
it's death race.
Honey, you have a pit stop, the helicopter starts shooting homing missiles at you. Things like that.
They're going to drive over the shield.
Yeah.
Fucking Yuki Tsunoda's been replaced by 25K or whatever his name was.
Yeah, bloody hell. Jason Statham's not there. I don't want to be a part of it.
So then the 1st of May to the 3rd of May, unfortunately, it's Miami.
Unfortunately, for a long time, it's Miami.
May 22nd and May 24th is Canada.
Not your buddy guy.
It's a bit strange. This
Canada's
year.
before Monaco.
Yeah.
Not after it, and before Spain.
June 5th to 7th is Monaco. June 12th to 14th is Catalonia in Spain. June 26th to 28th is Austria. July 3rd to 5th is Great Britain. July 17th to 19th is Belgium.
They put Spa before the break.
Why would you do that? I don't get it.
Actually, well, no. July 17th and 19th is Belgium. July 24th to 26th
Is Hungary.
that's the next weekend.
Yeah.
And then it's the break.
Then it's the break. Then August 21st to 23rd is the Netherlands. Which I think that's Netherlands for the last time too.
Yeah.
And then September 4th to 6th is Monza. September 11 to 13 is the new Madrid track in Spain.
Looks like shit.
Yeah, well, what do you expect? Herman Tilke designed it.
Yeah, I know.
And it's on a street circuit. Yet
The
again.
Madrid street track into the Azerbaijan, into Singapore. Well, at least Singapore's a good street track.
Yeah, well, September 25th to 27 is Azerbaijan, Abajabajab.
It's still there.
October 9 to 11 is Singapore.
They've pushed that back.
That's going to be even hotter.
Yeah. Yep.
Singapore needs to be a little bit more north in the calendar, I mean. It's...
That's the week after the NRL Grand Final. That's how hot. That's like mid... That's almost summer.
Yeah, that's going to be... Well, I mean, when it's in September, it's fucking dangerous with how hot it is.
It's hot as in September.
Well, I mean, now you've moved it to October. You're moving it closer to the hottest point of the year. You're going to kill someone.
Yeah, you want to be bringing plenty of icy poles and hydrolite there.
Oh, God. Even Godzilla's going to struggle.
Yeah, absolutely.
October 23rd to 25th is Kota.
Is Coda running its contract out? I heard it is.
They haven't been offered another contract yet.
Yeah, I heard they're... Surely they've got to. They got 400,000 people there last year.
Well, it's the cheapest out of the 3 American races.
Yeah. And the other two are shit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Vegas might be all right.
Vegas is okay.
Miami's trash.
Yeah. 30th of October to the 1st of November is Mexico.
Side note, congratulations, Shane Van Gisbergen, for winning the NASCAR race at Circuit de Hermanas Rodriguez.
Nice.
In Mexico City, the actual... they do a shortened version. There's a cut through... There's a cut through from the first chicane, and they cut off like the hairpin at the top before you go through the windies. But they do a shortened version of it. But Shane Van Gisbergen, I think it was the 3rd largest winning margin in NASCAR history. It was like 16 seconds or something. He fucking smashed them. Yeah, so good on you, SVG.
Yeah, good job.
They don't enforce track limits there either. and the way IndyCar don't enforce track limits, neither does NASCAR.
Oh, Jesus.
I did like the onboard lap with Shane, and I was like, track limits, track limits, track limits, track limits. It's like, well, they obviously don't do track limits at NASCAR. Good on him.
The FIA has no jurisdiction here.
They pulled a crowd too. Like that baseball stadium section was chockers.
Yeah, but it's Mexico. I mean, they'll go for anything.
They fucking love it. You put a demolition derby there, they'll fucking
Oh,
put
man.
up taco stands and fucking drink tequila all day.
Yeah, fucking Rock in Rio.
I'd love to go to Mexico just to watch the Grand Prix.
Well,
If it wasn't, if it didn't scare me a little bit.
Yeah, also because of the elevation, the air's a lot thinner.
Yeah, we'd have to get fit before we went over there.
Oh, look, I couldn't.
Just
I couldn't
sitting
go.
at the top of the baseball stadium, just like can't breathe. Needing scuba diving oxygen tanks just to survive.
Right, the next race is November 19 to November 21st, which is Las Vegas.
November 9 to 8 is Interlagos as well. We missed that.
Oh, yeah. 6 to 8 is Brazil.
Yeah.
19 to 21 is Las Vegas. 27 to 29 is Qatar. And then... They moved... No, that's there.
No, Qatar's there.
Yeah. And then December 4th to December 6th is Abu Dhabi.
When's Qatar getting replaced by that street track? They're building one too, aren't they?
I don't know.
And Jeddah's getting replaced by that Qiddiya City track as well. All pending World War III not breaking out, by the way.
Yeah, if there's still a track.
If World War III breaks out, we're going to lose a lot of races off this calendar.
Well, that's okay. Just replace it with Imola,
Hockenheim,
Nürburgring.
Fucking Magello's still there. You can go back to Sepang still there.
Yeah.
Fucking, actual racetracks.
You know, they're talking about doing a street race in Thailand now.
For fuck's sake. We don't want street races.
Hang on, we're going to do a handshake on that one. Yes! We did it at the same time.
I'm done with fucking street tracks. I really am.
Oh.
It's not IndyCar. You don't need to do... It's not fucking Formula E. Where they just do random fucking street races.
You know, look, I wouldn't mind if they went to fucking Macau at this point.
Go to Bathurst. Pussies.
No, Adelaide.
Clipsal 500. Go back there.
Or Townsville.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the tracks they could go to. They could go to Hockenheim. Go to Imola.
Yep.
Nürburgring.
Yep. Spang. I'm pretty sure that Indian track is still there as well. Remember the one race they had in India?
Yeah, the track's falling apart, though.
Yeah, the track's... Apparently the back straight's got a massive, hump in it now.
There's where they could go. Kyalami.
Kyalami just got FIA approved. It's grade 3 FIA spec. You can host Formula 1 races.
And
they're actually pushing for it.
And there's that New South Wales track as well.
The Bend. No one wants to go there. It's
yeah,
trash.
True.
It's trash.
True. Yeah, you got a point.
It's trash. No one wants to go there.
You know what? Just build a track in the middle of fucking Perth.
Yeah,
everything else is at Perth.
They fucking steal everything else. They steal the WWE and the UFC.
Yeah, because all the money
and
all the money they fucking saved from COVID.
Yeah.
Well, they just shut the doors and said no one's coming in. Everyone else is like, "Hey, we're not wearing masks anymore."
Yeah. Then wait a minute, we need tourism money. Fuck. There's nothing to do in Perth.
Just sweat.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been to Perth. I'll go there next year probably.
Doesn't your mum live in Perth?
They live up north in Karratha. Way up north. Perth is down here. They're way the fuck up there.
But it's still in Western Australia.
Yeah, but Western Australia is as big as Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria combined.
You know there's fucking nothing in Western Australia.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's a desert. Desert and Aboriginal tribes.
And WWE and UFC.
That's like saying, my mum lives in Melbourne when I live in Mackay. That's the same distance. That's basically saying I live in Mackay and she lives in Melbourne. That's where they live as to where Perth is.
Yeah.
And that's the only city they've got over there.
Yeah.
I don't understand that state. It's fucking backwards.
But I mean,
build the wall.
The tracks they could go to, like, Hockenheim, Nürburgring, Imola, Magna Corps.
Yeah, Magna Corps still
Paul
there. They could
Ricard.
go to Le Mans.
Yeah, Paul
They could go to either Circuit de la Sarthe or the MotoGP track, the Bugatti circuit.
You could go back to Sepang.
Yeah, Sepang. There's a lot of people wanting to go back to Sepang.
Yeah. You could Dijon.
Did we say Istanbul Park?
No, but you can go to Istanbul
That's
Park.
a brilliant track. I love that track.
Or what was the one that was like Spain? It was Mugello, wasn't it?
Valencia.
No,
Remember the Valencia street track?
No, yeah, but that was shit.
That was a great track. Mark Webber nearly died there, but it was a great track.
Yeah, so did Nelson Piquet Jr.'s career.
Well, yeah.
No, it was Mugello they went to during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, the MotoGP track. It was a really good race.
It's pretty similar to.
That's where they had that
Catalan.
big start line fuck up, the safety car restart.
Yeah.
Where half of them went and half of them stopped.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit. Someone make your mind up.
Hey, they could always go to Sochi.
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there. I wouldn't fuck with it, but
Yeah.
it's still there.
You know, there's a lot of tracks they could go to. Or Kyalami,
Yeah.
you know, Adelaide,
Fucking Barbagallo Raceway.
Pukekohe.
Winton. Oran Park.
Oran Park.
It's been demolished now, though.
Oh.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Townsville.
Yeah, it's Townsville.
Yeah, Canelands Car Park.
Canelands Car Park.
There we go.
You've got to do a race from the toe of Canelands car park to the bottom. Where the obstacles are like Lance Stroll and Angry Friday bumps.
They've got to weld grates over the potholes.
Yeah. Make sure the potholes are welded down. No, keep the potholes there. Then it's just an actual proper race.
It's got like Monaco where they go down that one
And they all
little straight.
Dodge that pothole.
Yeah.
They all dodge that manhole
it's
cover.
just like that. Yeah, it's great.
Except we've got 200 of them.
They're not potholes. They're portals to Narnia.
They're the size of them, yeah.
The only thing missing is the 7 chevrons around it. You can lock one in and open the Stargate.
They're big enough to open a Stargate.
Mitch, if you're listening, show that to Kat, all right? Let her listen to this. She'll get the joke. Right, so that's the calendar. We're going to move on to the next news item, which is there's news at Alpine. Surprise, oh fucking surprises.
Oh my God.
Alpine's CEO, Luca Di Maio, has handed in his resignation. He's leaving the company.
What a surprise.
What a shocker.
Is it because he's finally realised that Flavio Briatore's a fuckwit?
He's Flavio's boss.
He's Flavio's boss.
Yeah. He's
And
the
he's
CEO of Alpine.
He hates Flavio so much as an employee that he's not going to terminate Flavio. He's going to terminate himself.
He comes into work every morning, and the first thing he hears is Celine Dion singing "My Heart Will Go On." That's how much of the Titanic he's on.
Oh man, he's like those violin players standing on the top deck as the thing's sinking.
No. He's the captain going into the thing, and then he closes the door. And he's getting ready to watch all the water come in, and then all of a sudden he cracks himself a Cerveza Cristal.
Cerveza Cristal. What else do you do in that situation with crack a Cerveza Cristal?
Crack one of them. It's not like you've got anywhere else better to be.
What else are you going to do?
And it's going to be frozen
It'll
cold.
be fucking ice. That's the most icy cold beer you'll ever have. Oh, far out. That made me laugh when I saw that. That captain just shuts the door on him and turns around and pulls out the beer. Oh, AI's got nothing on us. You can only try. But anyway, so he's leaving.
He's leaving. He's leaving in mid-July. He's not even sticking around 6 months. He's giving him like 3 weeks. He's like, yep, 3 weeks.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Where are you going to? I'm going to go be a jackman at Ferrari. I might end up at Apex GP at some point.
Rear jackman. You're going to see you one day.
My God. What are they doing there? What are they doing
This
there?
all started with the Oscar Piastri bungle, and it just hasn't stopped. Ever since Fernando told them to go fuck themselves, and they couldn't sign Piastri.
Well, you've got the CEO has left. Alonso has been talking to Flavio Briatore
About going back.
Yeah, well, no one knows what it's about, but he's spoken to him 4 times in the last month.
Flavio talking to Fernando, or the other way around?
Who knows? They're talking to each other.
I've never seen anyone walk back into a house fire, but this could be a first.
Yeah, but it's Fernando Alonso. The man makes the worst career decisions.
As if you're going to leave Aston Martin the year before Adrian Newey designed you a fucking car.
And you get Honda power units.
Do you want a rocket ship, or do you want to fucking walk into a little house fire? Close the door behind you.
Do you want a rocket ship? Do you want a rocket ship?
Stop, drop, and roll.
Or do you want a Citroen?
Seriously.
That's what he's. If he's thinking about leaving.
It's like that Top Gear episode, how they all drove the Peugeots or whatever. Oh no, I have crashed.
Stupid idiot.
Maniac. No, Fernando, no.
And you know what's even worse is that Franco Colapinto has got to prove that he can do something by the end of Austria, or he's out and Paul Aaron gets the seat.
So they're just going to go with drivers with less and less experience.
And expect miracles.
I can't wait. Who's their Formula W Academy driver girl?
I
don't
know, Jeff.
There's going to be a woman F1 driver by proxy of them going through their entire reserve rank of F2, F3, and F4 drivers. And the only thing left is going to be their female, because they've all had 6 races to prove themselves, and they've all been shit.
And Fernando Alonso.
And Fernando Alonso somehow re-signs with the team.
He breaks his contract with Aston Martin to go back to Alpine.
Oh my God, he's not that stupid.
Yes, he is. He is. He would do something that dumb. He's signed with Aston Martin till the end of next year, and yet he's having chinwags with Flavio. What the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
I know. He's literally getting on the lifeboat, rowing back out to the Titanic to get on it while it's sinking. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. No, I'm going to turn around and go back.
Yeah, he's
sinking on the Titanic seems like a better option.
He's on the lifeboat watching the Titanic sink, going, "Let me go with you."
It's like, wait a minute, that looks like way more fun.
It can make it.
It'll be like the old days of Renault.
He's
just hit his head and he thinks it's 2005 again, doesn't he?
Oh, 2006
he's
when
still
he beat
looking around
Schumacher.
he's still looking around the paddock for Michael Schumacher. Doesn't know why he's not there. He must have dementia. That's the only reason. He must have fucking CTE or something. The only reason he's fucking even considering leaving Aston Martin now, when Adrian Newey's about to design you a Honda-powered rocket ship. It's like, no, go back to Ribby's Flavio. Flavio's there. We get a
It's too
bit more.
fast. Like my ancient body can't keep up with it. I need to go with something a bit slower.
Yeah, my bones hurt. Adrian Newey's going to make my car too good and too fast.
I might actually beat. I might actually win another championship. Then I can't keep saying that my last championship I beat Michael Schumacher.
I'm too scared of being successful now. Idiot.
Oh, fuck.
So that's Alpine, just sinking like the Titanic.
Why don't they just sell the team? Just sell the team.
Seriously, at this point.
You know?
See if Lotus will buy it back.
Oh, fuck. I mean, you know. I don't give a shit. Sell it to Nikita Mazepin. Or Dmitry Mazepin. Or
I think Dimitri's busy with the war, maybe.
yes. Sell it to, I don't know.
Wasn't Prema trying to get in? Was
Yeah.
it Prema that was trying to get in from Formula 2? To put in an F1 entry?
Was it them or Art? ART.
It was one of them.
I know who could buy it. Crap, I can't remember his name.
The Rich Energy guy.
No, fuck that guy. Rick Rubin from Temu.
Yeah.
Jeff
Bezos. Elon Musk could buy it.
Yeah, he could.
Elon Musk could buy Formula One, honestly.
Who's the guy who owns IndyCar?
Oh, fucking Penske.
Yeah, sell it to Penske.
That's not the worst option, having a Penske-based Formula One team.
Yeah, but then he'll buy Formula One. And then he'll try and cheat and get busted.
Again, like he always does.
In his own fucking...
Yeah. In Indy, twice in a year.
He owns Indy and he got caught cheating. Like, how fucking stupid
he got caught tampering with the crash structure arrow, which is illegal. And then last year he got caught tampering with the push-to-pass software, trying to give his team unlimited push-to-pass.
Fucking hell.
It's like basically giving his team unlimited ERS.
What did he sit there and get like one of those cheat cartridges from like Commodore 64 time? Plug it in.
He's done like the movie hacker thing, like where he just types a whole bunch of random shit.
Yeah, that's what you do.
I'm in.
That's what you do with these cartridges. Like you type in all this code, and it unlocks the changes various values inside the program, and then you can save it onto the cartridge. And then you load the game with the cartridge in, and you can, get the cheats off the cartridge. And
there you go. Maybe. I don't know. It's just, he's been caught a lot of times. And one of his Porsches got disqualified from Le Mans qualifying for being underweight at the technical regulations.
Oh, crap.
So he's had a fantastic year so far, old Penske.
Just the only team that's doing worse than him is Alpine.
Tell you what.
Right, so we're going to move on from Alpine because there's only so many times you can kick a dog while it's down. So we're going to move on to Mercedes. Oh, dearie me. So George Russell still does not have a contract for next year.
Which is very surprising.
You know what's even worse is he can't talk to any other teams because Toto Wolff is his manager as well as his team boss.
Well, Toto can't just sit there and let his contract expire.
I think they're waiting for Max Verstappen to get the shits at Red Bull.
It's got to be the only reason why.
It's got to be.
They're just keeping the door slightly ajar for him. Could you imagine Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli as teammates? Yeah. Holy.
Yeah, but...
Kimi's already got talent. Imagine learning firsthand off Max.
Then George Russell's going to have to go to Red Bull.
Yep. And drive against the vaunted Yuki Tsunoda.
Oh, insert... Might as well. You remember the old F1 games where they couldn't use Jacques Villeneuve's likeness? So they just had Williams Driver 1?
Yes.
That's what it is. Red Bull Driver 2.
Red Bull Driver 2. Whoever it is next year after I get the shits with Yuki.
Yeah, but I don't get this.
It's got to be the only reason.
Yeah.
It's got to be the only reason is like wait for Max to get the shits at Red Bull and say he wants to test himself on the market.
But Max...
When's his contract? Isn't he contracted like 2028 or something?
Yeah. But he's got a performance clause in there. If the car's not up to snuff, he can bail.
That's true. I mean, ironically, he just finished second to a Mercedes on the weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So maybe it's definitely an appealing option at the moment.
I don't think he'll do it.
Outside of a McLaren, it's probably the next best car you want to jump in.
I think next year he'll do it because I don't think that Ford power unit's going to be up to snuff.
Yeah, a car that's completely, for the first time in its entire existence, basically, a Red Bull's not going to be designed by Adrian Newey.
Yeah.
And powered by a Ford power unit that's probably going to be undercooked.
Yeah, because it's not a Cozza.
Nah, it's just one of their EcoBoost
Every
engines.
Ford power unit that's been worth a piss has been a Cozza.
Yeah. Now this will be one of their EcoBoost engines from World Endurance.
Oh,
with a hybrid slapped on it.
Red Bull's still doing the internal combustion engine.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be Ford gear with a Red Bull engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Sorry, but hearing Red Bull making their own engines kind of reminds me of Mechachrome.
Well, look, it hasn't. Like, I mean, it's not the fastest engine on the grid anymore, but it's not a slouch either.
No, but by next year it might be slightly out of date.
Yeah, well, yeah. And it's got to partner up with Ford running gear instead of Honda running gear.
Yeah.
Which is going to be different again.
Right, so we're going to move on to the next one, which is Ferrari. There are rumours that Fred Vasseur is going to be dumped by Ferrari at the end of the season and replaced by the team principal of Ferrari's World Endurance Championship team. I think that's a dumb idea.
I don't think anything that's going wrong with Ferrari right now is Fred's fault. Directly.
No, I think he's doing a great job.
The car's not great. The car's gone backwards from last year.
The car's not great, and look, Lewis and Riccardo Adami clearly are not gelling.
Yeah.
And the simple fact that I was reading about Riccardo Adami, like he's been in the team for 20 years or something. You know, he started off as a mechanic and he's worked his way up. But I mean, I've been with my company for it'll be 21 years next weekend, and you know, I'm press manager. But just because I've been there for 21 years and 25 years in total, doesn't mean that I automatically should be fucking general manager.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, some people, just because they've been there for longevity, doesn't mean that they're the right person to be in a certain position. And Riccardo Adami has been there for 20 years. It doesn't mean he's very good at being a fucking engineer.
Well, he's certainly not being much help to Lewis, is he?
No, that's my point.
I mean, well, obviously he would have been what? Carlos's engineer last year, was he?
Yep. And he was Sebastian Vettel's before that.
Well, you know, they both did fairly decently at their stints there.
But how many times did they had to listen to "We Are Checking"?
Yeah, a few. Still do.
Yeah.
Still do. I mean, but it's not Fred. I mean,
how can Ferrari not get strategy shit right, and yet Apex GP, which is a fictional team, can get strategy right?
Exactly. It doesn't seem like it's, you know, the biggest, most complex. They make it out to be, though.
Yeah, they
They make it out to be like a fucking maths problem.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, it's practice. Go and run these tyres. Tell me how long they last. Oh, 15 laps. Okay. Well, we can run two 15-lap stints. That's 30 laps. And then there'll be 40 laps left, so I'll put a harder compound on, and that'll get us to the end.
Yeah. I mean, Charles Leclerc this week, the Canadian race, he said, you know, they're like, oh, box. And he's like, no, my tyres are fine. Like, what are we doing? And they just kept insisting until he came in the box, and then he got out, and he's like, these tyres are shit. I told you my tyres were good.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yep. He was telling them to change to Plan C, and they're like, yeah, no. No.
They must have thought Plan C was like Sonny Hayes' version of Plan C.
Chaos. Plan chaos.
But I don't think getting rid of Fred Vasseur is the problem.
No, I don't think so.
Right.
Well, it's not the solution either. I mean, the car's undercooked. Lewis is maybe slightly over the hill. His engineer's not gelling with him. Charles Leclerc's doing the best he can, but even Charles Leclerc's not winning races.
And the power unit is just, it's not a straight line speed power unit.
No, it hasn't been this year.
It hasn't been for a lot of this hybrid era.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely more problems than just Fred Vasseur. I think getting rid of Fred Vasseur will create more problems than solve problems.
But the other Ferrari news is that there are rumours that Ferrari is going to be setting up a satellite base in England.
Yeah?
Yeah, like having a technology department that designs cars or whatever in England so that they can try and get some of the more technical designer people from England who don't want to move to Italy to work for Ferrari. They can work in England And, with technology now, you can video call, you can email, you can do all that. So real technology's making the world smaller.
Well, that's what Toro Rosso was doing when they were still based in...
Faenza.
They were based in Italy, but they had a hub in England as well.
Well, Ferrari tried it in the early 90s with John Barnard.
Mm.
But technology was different back then.
Yeah.
But now they can do it and get away with it.
Yeah.
So...
Look, if it's going to help the team, then go for it.
Yeah. They might be able to poach someone like a James Allison back.
Yeah, someone who's just, who, for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to move to Italy.
Yeah. Because I think that was one of the reasons why Adrian Newey didn't sign with Ferrari. Was he didn't want to move to Italy.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Okay. So I think maybe some tweaks to the Ferrari culture need to happen, but I don't think sacking Fred Vasseur is the option, the answer.
No, I don't think so.
Right, so that's the news. Now we get to the fun stuff. We get to talk about the F1 movie.
We do.
Because we went and saw it last night. It was opening night for us.
Yes.
And, it was pretty good.
I quite enjoyed it.
I did see a couple of movie reviews where they basically said, without saying the words, that this was the plot from Driven in an F1 movie.
Well, that's what we were afraid it was going to be. I think it was a bit better than that.
It had a bit more meat to the bone.
I think so. I actually think so.
I mean, it is a similar premise, but Driven as a movie, and we're talking Driven, the Sylvester Stallone IndyCar movie from 2000. Driven seemed more focused on, hey, we're filming at the IndyCar, let's show off all the shit that's going on at IndyCar, and then they put a plot with it.
Yeah.
This felt like a movie that was based in F1.
Yeah, it definitely showcased the sport. Like, it was definitely, like, a lot of the reviews I saw as well was like, this was an advertisement for Formula One. This was a Formula One advertisement. Which it is.
It is.
It is, in part. But I think the plot was substantial enough for it to still, it's still a movie.
Yeah.
It's still, but it's very much based in Formula One. It's very much, down to Martin Brundle and David Croft being the commentators.
Will Buxton being in it. Lee Diffie
being the commentator at the start.
Who's the female, one of the female commentators?
Natalie Pinkham?
She was in it too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was in it too.
So it treated F1 with a lot of respect.
It treated F1 fans with a lot of respect too.
And the fact that it had Lewis Hamilton as a producer.
Yeah.
Toto Wolff was an executive producer.
Yeah.
So you had two minds that had the power to sit there and say, no, you're going to Hollywood, this is what really happens. So the realism was there.
And it wasn't completely, like, they didn't insult our intelligence as F1 fans either.
No.
Especially because that was their target audience, seeing as I walk into the cinema last night in my McLaren shirt, feeling like a nerd, and then we turn the corner and there's fucking 4 McLaren shirts, 2 Red Bull shirts, 3 Ferrari shirts, and a couple of Mercedes shirts, and I'm like, oh, we're with our crowd.
Yeah.
It's like, this is their exact target audience.
And
which may be a good thing or maybe a bad thing, because there wasn't a whole lot of just casual moviegoers, it seemed like, there for the premiere.
I mean, even when we were at Dead Rooster, there was a guy there who was into his F1. We had a chinwag while we waited for Dead Rooster to actually kill the chook and actually cook it.
Yeah, they killed it, plucked it, fucking seasoned it, cooked it for an hour.
Yeah, took it to KFC. They cooked it for half an hour and then came back.
Yeah, that's probably the longest I've ever waited for a feed there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was for a Wednesday night. That was insane.
Thursday.
Or whatever night it was.
Yeah. But, we rocked up at the cinema and there's, a Ferrari shirt and 2 Max Verstappen Red Bull shirts and everything. And we didn't know these people from a bar of soap.
No, but it was so cool.
Immediately, we just made a comment like, oh, look, look, there's people here who even support Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got a laugh from people, and it was a little sort of a community thing of...
It was a very community feel, actually.
Yeah.
Going in there, everyone in their team shirts. I pointed out that you were too embarrassed to wear your Ferrari shirt, and everyone laughed.
Yeah,
Like, well, you were too embarrassed to wear yours.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the crash scene and... You know,
with the crash scene at Parabolica, and then someone yells out, Max had the apex.
Who was that person that yelled that out?
That would be you.
Yeah, got a laugh though, didn't it?
Yeah, especially when you said Max will probably get a penalty for that.
Max got a penalty for that, but he'll just say he had the apex. As young, what's the young kid's name in the movie? JP.
Joshua Pierce.
Joshua Pierce goes barrel rolling through the air. A very, very long way further than I've ever seen an F1 car barrel roll.
The thing was, when that crash happened, right before you said what you said, I was sitting there going, please don't put this crash into super slow motion like in Driven. That was my first thought, was don't do Driven.
And what did they do?
They did it realistically.
They did. It was a very long crash. But he flipped very far, and then I'm just like, oh, he's going to land in a lake here. Please don't land in a lake.
He didn't.
He didn't land in a lake, thankfully.
You know, so it treated the subject material with a lot of respect.
It treated fans. They didn't insult their intelligence. You know, casual F1 fan. I think casual F1 fans will really like this. You know, people who've just watched Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
Now just want to go straight into the movie.
Yeah.
You know, but hardcore F1 fans enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Casual F1 fans will enjoy it. People who've never watched F1 before, maybe.
Yeah, or motorsport fans will enjoy it.
Yeah, motorsport fans will enjoy it. I don't have someone who's just cruising through and sees a Brad Pitt movie and clicks it and doesn't know Formula 1 from a bar of soap. I don't know if they'll pick it up as well.
Yeah.
Which is probably the only drawback, but it's out there. It's on the big screen. It's our passion. It's our love. And we enjoyed it.
And I did notice, because this has got the same director as Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of expert camera work to really get you into the cockpit, get you in the races so that you feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah.
The CGI was very minimal.
Yeah, it was. You could tell which parts were, but when they were shooting the real scenes, with their F2 kit car, dressed up as a Formula 1 car, it looked very good, especially a lot of the scenes where they shot it for real. You know, they were involved with the practice session at Silverstone. I think they did another practice session at, where were they? I think it was the Red Bull Ring, actually. They did a practice session there.
Yeah.
They actually rolled up to the start. When they roll up to the start line at Silverstone, that's legitimate.
Yeah.
They actually rolled up to the start line for the formation lap and then peeled into the pit lane at the end. But those GP cars at the back, they were real. They actually did the formation lap with the F1 guys.
And they were on the grid for the British national anthem as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they really did put the
there
effort
in. There was a lot of realism there.
The character...
I mean, not as cool and as realistic as Tom Cruise actually in a fighter jet, but cool enough.
Well, originally they wanted Tom Cruise to do this, to do this movie, but insurance wouldn't cover him, and the F1 teams were like, no, we don't want Tom Cruise, not because they disliked him, but because they knew he'd want to drive the car on the track during a race.
Yeah.
And that would be dangerous.
Yes.
So Brad Pitt's almost as nuts, but he knows what his limits are.
Yeah. Brad Pitt did get to drive the McLaren, though.
Yeah.
At COTA in a test day by himself.
Yeah, and he had a blast.
Looked like he had a fat time.
Yeah. The character I liked the most was actually the technical director chick, Kate.
Yeah, she was cool.
She was great.
She was cool. I mean, of course, there was the fucking sappy love interest angle.
Yeah, well,
but it didn't take away from her character too much.
Yeah, it wasn't kind of like it wasn't like Days of Thunder where it's Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman and the brain surgeon becomes the love interest, and it didn't go that far.
No, it didn't go that far. They sort of, they had a one-off. And then at the end, it's clear that they go their separate ways anyway, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's not like Top Gun where the flight chick lady, falls in love with the young hotshot.
Oh, yeah.
Or, this was the other way around. It was,
Yeah.
The old veteran falls in love with his race engineer.
Yeah.
Sort of shit.
But I think the one thing that really hammered home how realistic it was hearing Crofty and Martin Brundle.
Yep.
Yeah, they really made it feel legit.
Yep, absolutely.
Particularly every time the lights went out and you'd hear Crofty say, and it's lights out, and away we go. And you're like,
yes.
That's what we listen to every 2 weeks.
Yep.
So that really hammered home how realistic it was for us.
It hit home with fans.
Yeah.
It gave us it hit home with, they knew their target audience and they hit the mark.
Now, it wasn't quite as good as Rush.
No. Rush is still the pinnacle.
But it was better than Days of Thunder.
Yeah, it was a hell of a lot better than Driven.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anything's better. Look, all those shit Fast and Furious sequels that we've been put through were better than Driven. Driven might as well call itself Drivel.
Well, yeah. Well, look, they didn't drive the F1 cars through the streets of
Thank
Monaco with
Christ for
with
that.
no helmets on.
With no helmets on, dodging CGI fucking...
Potholes. Manhole covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't want to remember that scene. Jesus Christ.
Sounds like we're going to have to watch Driven again.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I can't. I want to burn that out of my brain. I'll go and watch Ronin again before I watch Drivel.
Oh, Jesus. Maybe we should just watch Rush again.
Well, it's coming up on that time of the year.
Yeah, 1st of August. That's not far away.
No, not far off at all.
1st August. But no, good movie. Not as good as Rush. As you said, as referenced by the Hans Zimmer score.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer's score for Rush was better.
Yeah, it had a character to it.
And Rush as a movie, I think, had a bit more character too.
Yeah. Because
there was some very Rush elements in his score, though.
Oh, yeah.
You listen to it and like, he's trying so hard not to copy Rush right now. He's like just changing notes and flattening it off a little bit. Yeah. Whereas Rush's was a lot more soaring.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Rush elements in that soundtrack. And I'm like, oh, man, you could almost do it, get away with it. But, people who've watched Rush will be like, don't copy and paste.
Yeah, as soon as I saw he'd done the score, I'm like, oh, no, don't.
As it rains at the end in Abu Dhabi, they look at each other, they flick the helmet. It's like, wait a minute.
Because you said when the big crash happens, you yelled out the cinema, Max had the apex.
Max had the apex.
Yeah, and then you said, Max will probably get a penalty for this. And then I quietly leaned over to you and said, hey, asshole, that was my line. I had that corner.
Yeah, no, enjoyable experience, actually. I think, and that was the best part. Like, just there was a very community experience, and a very targeted audience that enjoyed the movie.
Right. So that's a double thumbs up from us.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're a casual fan of F1, go check it out.
That's all 10 fingers, all 10 toes, and one penis, all upright.
Fully erect everywhere.
Fully erect.
Everywhere.
Right. So that's the movie review. Now it's time for the driver's standings. I better have a drink before. All right. 10th place in the driver's standings is Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Ball on 21 points. Moving back up to 9th place is Esteban Ocon with 22 points. 8th place is Alex Albon with 42 points in the Williams. 7th place is Kimi Antonelli with 63 points. 6th place is Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari with 79 points. Fifth place is Charles Leclerc with 104 points. Fourth place is George Russell with 136 points. Third place is Max Verstappen with 155 points. Second place is Lando Norris with 176 points. And still leading the Drivers' Championship is Oscar Piastri in the McLaren with 198 points. About to crack 200.
He's extended the lead over Norris now. Norris's fault, though.
Yep. And the team standings. Coming dead last is Alpine with 11 points.
Good.
Ninth place is Kick Sauber with 20 points. Eighth place is Aston Martin with 22 points. Seventh place is Racing Bulls with 28. They're tied with Haas in sixth place with 28 points. Fifth place is Williams with 55 points. Then in fourth place is Red Bull. Red Bull, not Racing Bull. Red Bull with 162 points. Dropping down to third is Ferrari with 183 points. Mercedes is in second place with 199 points. And leading the constructors on 374 points is McLaren. Right. So, we've got Austria this very weekend.
Yeah, I'm literally going to go home and watch practice.
Yes.
The practice literally starts in 90 minutes. That's how late we've pushed this.
Woohoo. But we'll go through the socials now, so you can listen and watch this on YouTube on the F1 Chat Care of Vindicator 18 channel. We're also on YouTube as the F1 Chat 1. Don't forget the 1. You can interact with us on Facebook at the F1 Chat. On X, the F1 Chat 1. Again, don't forget the 1. We're also on Rumble, the F1 Chat. And we are on Spotify, the F1 Chat.
We will be on Spotify again soon.
Yes.
We're a couple episodes behind up there, but they're all there on YouTube.
Yes. They should be, because I upload them after I edit the video.
Yeah.
Because God knows that takes forever to do the editing part.
Yeah, and I think I've just caught us back up on X as well.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Right, so we're going to do this again probably in a couple of days' time.
Yeah, honestly.
So we can have something for Austria.
Yep.
And Austria always brings it every year.
It brought it last year, and it's going to bring it again this year. It's a great track.
And if it rains, like they were getting hail today.
Yeah, Oscar was doing the weather report. He's like, it's raining. No, Valtteri was actually at Mercedes. He's like, it's raining. Also, there's golf balls. It's like hailing. He's like, there's golf balls for some reason.
Even Lewis Hamilton like walked outside and he's just like, oh my God, there's golf balls getting chucked at me.
Yeah.
Jesus. So
it's off to a turbulent start, which is fantastic for us.
Yeah, well, it's always interesting if it rains there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Austria and Spa, it's always interesting when it rains there.
Oh, yeah. But you don't want it raining the whole race.
No, you just want some rain either at the end or in the middle.
Yeah, because then you get Plan C.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us on this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you for the next episode from the Austria race. Till then, thank you for tuning in, and it is goodbye.